Hey everybody, I hope this one works. This is our 5th try. Sorry we're late, but we were running into some issues, so hopefully a full shutdown helped. But we're here. Trainer Tuesdays. This is the furthest we've made it so far.
Yay, okay.
So welcome back. Michelle here from Hilarious Hound.
And Christina from No Problem Dog Training.
And we're here for Trainer Tuesdays.
Yes,
we'll be here the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of every month, going over some awesome training advice, dog advice, whatever you guys have questions or concerns about. We want to help answer them. So,
under the dog category. Sorry about last week. Sorry about last week. There was an last time there was an emergency, and I had to go.
Which comes with being part of the pet world.
Yeah, things happen.
Things happen. Dogs will be dogs. Yeah, so we're here for you guys to answer questions you have about your dogs or training or walking or anything. So always keep in mind, ask those questions. We'll answer them. Yeah. You ask them in the comments below, and we will try to answer them at some point, whether it be a specific topic we're going to touch base about or just kind of get back to you personally and try to answer those questions for you. If
by chance you're embarrassed to post your question, which I'm sure might happen, don't worry, there are no stupid questions.
No stupid questions.
You can always, if you want to email us or private message us or something, if you're uncomfortable.
Not a problem, too.
Comments are great. It's a warm community. No judgment.
Yes, perfect. So today is August 1st, which is
Dogist.
Yay! And for anybody who doesn't know what Dogist is, it is, I guess, a national day where we celebrate the birthdays for dogs in shelters.
Which, come on, guys. That's like the cutest thing.
Right?
It makes my heart happy.
I know. They need the love, too.
They really do.
And they deserve it.
Yeah. Oh, they absolutely do.
Right. So we felt that it would be appropriate to talk about shelters, rescue groups, how they function, what they do, why dogs end up there, and how you can help out. So we're going to go over all those things today on our shelter conversation. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I hope the internet is working. We're ready.
Right. And always remember, guys, like us below, share us if you like what we're talking about. Let's spread the word and keep those dogs out of the shelters or help people find dogs from the shelters. So share, comment, like below. Give us some love.
Oh,
yes, thanks. So to get started, we're going to go over some of the most common reasons why dogs and other animals, but mostly dogs, end up back in shelters or rescue groups. And one of the biggest issues and problems of why dogs end up there is because of separation anxiety. Yeah. Lots of dogs don't like to be left alone.
Yeah, it's a super common problem. You're not the only one. I know it often feels like you're the only one who's ever had to deal with this.
No.
But you're not, and there's such a range of separation anxiety. And it can be a frustrating situation for both owner and trainer because it does take a long time.
Right.
It can take a few weeks. It can take months. It can take longer than that. But there is a solution. It can be resolved. It just takes a lot of, messing around and time and patience.
Important thing to remember, patience. Yeah. Really, everything involved.
Everything with
training
dogs.
Your dogs is a lot of patience. So be patient about it. Your dog and yourself will appreciate it later if you can just be patient and work through it.
Yeah. I know it's hard because I know you've got the neighbors complaining and there's so much worrying that's going on. But I promise that it can be improved.
It can be.
I promise that. I can't promise a timeline how long it will take, but it's totally resolvable.
It's resolvable. 100%.
I've been there.
We both have been there. If my little girl could speak, she could say she was the culprit of terrible separation anxiety issues. Yeah. And we worked through it. And now she does awesome when we leave the house. And it's amazing because we live in an apartment. We lived in an apartment then. And it's hard when your dog has separation issues to be in an apartment. Or even a home whenever they type to be the destroyer type, which she was not, luckily.
Totally.
but yeah, that's the first reason why dogs often end up back in shelters. And we're going to go over in a couple weeks. Tune back in for the date that we'll be going over that. We haven't quite pinned it yet, but we're going to be talking more about separation anxiety and some quick ways to get your dog beyond and past it. So if you aren't already, follow our Facebook page so you can find out when that'll be going on. So our next major issue is general social behavior within dogs, that people don't like how their dog's behaving with another dog, or they aren't doing this or that, and they end up back in the shelter for some other reason.
Right. And these are, it range from fear, whether there's intra-dog aggression in the house, your dogs are fighting with each other, leash aggression, human aggression, and there's also fear, which can be, which is related to separation anxiety. That can take a very long time to work out.
Right.
But that's why a little self-promotion. You get a trainer, and they're going to be there to help you and support you. They're going to be in the trenches, and we're going to be there to help you every step of the way.
Right. Guys, remember, that's why we're here. We want to be helping you guys, help your pets, help yourself. So, again, any questions, feel free to ask us. Christina is a pro at this, and, well, I mean, I do the photography, I do the cute stuff. So, but we're here to help you get those issues resolved. So yeah, that was on behavioral problems. Yeah. So our next point of topic is potty training.
Yeah.
This is kind of a big one and yet an easy one at the same time.
It's one that a lot of people experience, whether it's a puppy or it's an adult dog. But it's very easy to fix. It's very systematic because it's not a behavior. We just have to teach them how to do it, and it can be annoying. Don't get me wrong, it can be annoying, but it's completely resolvable and resolvable in a fairly short amount of time too.
Right, and again, just having a little bit of patience with it is the key point. And we wanted to bring up potty training because one of the biggest things when you're adopting dog from a rescue group or shelter or organization or such, sometimes they don't know because, the dogs behave different when they're there, or maybe they were there for such a short amount of time, and they don't know if the dog is potty trained or not. Right. And so when you bring them home, and it's a shock and a surprise that you're like, oh man, I have to go through this potty training, and then you try, and it's not working, or something's not working. And then you're just like, we're just going to send the dog back because I can't resolve this issue. Right. Guys, it is resolvable. Promise you 100%. New dog, a puppy, an old dog, any dog, you can train an old dog to do new tricks.
Absolutely.
Promise you.
And I can't, most of the time when a dog comes to a new environment, even if it was potty trained, remember it's been in a shelter, it's been in different environments, we're switching up its routine. Right. There's these new people. It's a lot to take in.
Everything's different for them.
There's often an accident or two because of, there's a lot going on. They're very delicate creatures. They don't just jump from one thing to another and are totally cool. It's very rare. Right. If they are having accidents and they're having separation anxiety, just know that that's not a potty training issue. That's something different. And like I said, we'll talk more about that when we get into separation anxiety next week. But yeah.
So our next topic of why dogs end up in the shelters, and guys, no judgment on this at all. Things happen, but sometimes dogs or pets or animals end up back in the shelter because of a life change or a financial change or a job change, and any one of those circumstances can put somebody, that they can't care for that animal anymore. It doesn't mean they don't love them the same, but some situation came up, and sometimes animals end up back into shelters for that reason. Right. And there are some great organizations out there that are helping people with this, and Christina's going to tell us a little bit more about that.
They're generally called shelter intervention programs, and they're there to help people who are considering giving up their dog. And they don't, not because they want to, because they feel like they're forced to give up the dog because of, living situation, just like Michelle talked about.
Or financial.
You've lost a job, you've got to move someplace. It can be, awful. It's awful to begin with, and then you have to, factor in what you're going to do with your beloved pet. It makes it ever more heartbreaking. So there are a couple programs that I know of. Right here in Oakland, there's PALS East Bay, and they're, awesome people. They do vaccine clinics. They'll help financially with certain things. If you're looking to rehome, they have a lot of resources, and they have, and a little plug for me, I contract train for them. So they've helped me, help people who have adopted dogs that are now all of a sudden having some problems. I come in there, do a few lessons, and everything works out for the best.
Well, that's what
most of the
there
time,
for.
right? And then there's Home Dog LA in LA, and they do, they really help with vet bills if that's an issue. They help to find a temporary housing, or even a temporary housing for your dog while you get on your feet. So there's a lot of different resources out there to help you if you're ever, unfortunately in such a predicament.
Right. So that's what we have for some of the most common issues of why dogs or animals end up back in the shelters and rescue groups. So something else we wanted to talk about today, and this can be kind of hard to wrap your head around sometimes because there's so many different organizations out there. So we're going to talk a little bit about what shelters and rescues do, how they're different from their other variants, and adoption processes through them and such. So a lot of information coming at you here, so get ready. So the first kind of organization that we have are what used to old term be known as the Pound, but more commonly known as today as organizations like the ACC,
Animal Services.
Animal Services. So these shelters are unfortunately city-run and known and deemed as Christina's quotes, kill shelters.
And they're where a lot of people go and drop their dogs off when they're looking to return them, or they don't want them to be part of their lives for a myriad of reasons, including the ones that we just spoke about. And they only have so much space. So what is crazy heartbreaking is that I think the number one reason that dogs will get put down at shelters is not because they're bad dogs, or it's because there's not enough room.
There's not enough room.
I mean, that is like, so, dogs go in who are puppies, older dogs, Labradors. Like, there's not a dog that is excluded from the potential of getting put down because of lack of space.
These are dogs that could have been living their whole life being loved by a family and accidentally wound up on the street and taken into one of these services. And if they didn't have the room and capacity to hold these dogs and the resources they evaluate, and some of them have to get put down simply on that role alone, which is just, it's sad. But we won't dwell on it too much because we want this to be a fun day. It's Dogist.
Yeah. So go support your local animal care control or animal services. They need it. The volunteers, well, I've disagreed with some people. That's going to happen in the dog community. I'm not going to get along with everybody. But I've met some amazing volunteers who dedicate their lives and come in, and they don't know if the dog they worked with yesterday is even going to be there. And then they go back and they do it again day after day. Right. So really, thank you, volunteers.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. So quick note on their adoption processes. Typically, these organizations are typically city-run and funded. Usually,
it depends, but it's usually a city-run, but it depends on which department or It's real complicated. But they don't have a bunch of money coming in. But that means when you adopt a dog from them, they still come neutered or spayed, and they come fully vaccinated, which is pretty amazing for what they can do on this budget. And the adoption fee is pretty low. Sometimes it's like $100, give or take, and sometimes they have like different specials for a rate might be different for an older dog versus a puppy. And
the application process is usually pretty quick and easy. They want to get those dogs out of that shelter as fast as they can. So that's kind of part of why they function like that. So we're going to move on so we don't get so sad. The next kind of organizations are organizations like the SPCA, the Humane Societies, such like that. So local to the Bay Area, we have the SPCA, Berkeley Humane Society.
Peninsula Humane.
I believe that our local Alameda Animal Shelter, Friends of Alameda Shelter, falls along this category. But these organizations are great, and they do a lot for the community.
And they they get a lot of money.
They get a lot of
funding.
Which
is great because they're big. They're huge. And they get, who hasn't seen that Sarah McLachlan commercial? Who hasn't?
Right.
Brutus and I can't even watch it.
We know the song and we know not to look.
right here. You go, no. But these are groups that are going in and you go we'll read about them in the paper. If there's a big dog fighting ring getting busted up. Right. If there's a big hoarding case. If there's a natural disaster. They have the funds
to step in and help the situations, right? These guys are doing great work. So the adoption process through an organization like this is probably fairly easy. Adoption fee might be a little bit more expensive, about $100 to $200, maybe.
Depending where you are.
They'll ask a couple questions on your application form, but it shouldn't be too difficult.
Right. But because because everybody knows about the SPCA, or they're familiar, they also get a lot of applications.
Right.
So you might be on a list of 50 people.
Right.
For this one little puppy that came in. But don't want to discourage you, but that's just part of the process, really.
Right. Our next order of organizations is our local small organizations, shelters, rescue groups. These guys are amazing, and they are doing really good for the communities and rehoming dogs and basically everything you can imagine. These guys are great. Right. They're great. And these are your independent rescue groups who oftentimes are 95% run off of volunteers and fosters. Some of them don't even have a facility to house their dogs. They solely rely on foster cases.
Right.
And
incredible. It's dedication.
Yeah, it is. Another reason why these organizations are so great is because they are the ones that are helping as much as they can to pull the animals from the ACC in places like that are overcrowded, so those dogs aren't being put down. So that standpoint alone makes them above and beyond amazing for what they do.
I mean, I've met some of the best people in the world in these groups, and because there are so many rescue groups out there now. Do your research about which one you want to work with. Every rescue is not created equally,
right?
But you want to see if the rescue has people with a lot of dog. They know something about dog behavior. If they're prepared to help you with training, that they know the resources. But just talk to people. Just talk to people before you even decide you're going to adopt from them. Take your time.
Right.
The dog will be there. There's no rush.
And they might have more of an extensive adoption process.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. They can run from 2-page applications to 10-page. And that's just because they're trying to be as thorough as possible. They don't want the dog to get returned.
Right. They want to make sure that dog is absolutely going to its forever home and not coming back for whatever instance that may be. And also you could put in an application. You might not hear back right away because these organizations, keep in mind, like I said, 95%. I don't know if that's the actual statistic, but it seems like it could be 100% are run by volunteer-based people. So these are people dedicating their extra time after their job or managing their own family that are trying to help out this organization. So it's a lot going on, and it can take them a while to get back to you. So don't get frustrated with them. These organizations are great. They would love your support, and just keep going with it.
Yeah. Patience.
You're going to hear that a lot.
Yeah, that is a dog trainer theme. Patience and baby steps.
Awesome. So we went over some reasons why dogs end up in shelters and some kind of tips to prevent that. The types of shelters and their adoption processes. And the last way we can give you guys today.
I want to talk about purebred rescues.
Oh, yes. I forgot.
Because and this is a statistic, I think it's from 2016, but as of 2016, 25% of dogs in shelters were purebreds. Wow, it's a pretty big number.
Right.
That means, you don't have to go to a breeder if you want a specific type of dog. And because there are lots of people who do want a specific breed, there are a lot of pure breed rescues.
Right.
I know German Shepherd dog rescue. I know a couple of golden retrievers. Their application fees can be adoption fees can be a little bit higher, but that's because, it's a more specific kind of dog that you're looking for. But, they're out there. I've met some amazing, German Shepherd puppies, and they're great. They're not damaged goods.
No.
That's a common misconception about dogs in shelters. Dogs in shelters, like we said, end up there for a variety of reasons. They're not there because they're bad dogs. Anyway.
Right. Okay. So I think we covered all of those now. Our last point of conversation we're going to move on to is how you can give back to these awesome organizations. This is a big point because today's Dogist, and it's the dog's birthday, so I think we have to go walk a dog after this. Maybe take some choice. But one of the biggest ways you can give back to an organization is to simply volunteer for them. And volunteering for a dog rescue group can be so much more than just walking the dog or cleaning their facility. They need help with so much more things: administrative staff work, fundraising, helping with events.
If you're big techie,
anything.
Bay Area, I'm not talking to you. They help with their website.
Right.
They help with doing interfaces and stuff.
Everything. Yeah. Photographers. They need it all. And you can volunteer in so many different ways, and you are never, ever, ever underappreciated.
No.
Ever.
And one big way of volunteering is to foster.
Right.
Not everybody can do it. You're two dog moms who have
foster failed.
are fosters, but
with that being said, be careful when you foster.
You might fall in love. I fostered a few dogs before I knew which one, but that's why also fostering is great, because you get to learn about what kind of dog you really want, what works best with your lifestyle, what you're up for. Right.
And you get the full feel of, having to come home after work and walk that dog instead of going out to the bar for the drink, or, all the other tasks that come in, or if you're fearful of picking up dog poop or on poop patrol, so be careful with that one. Right. But volunteering and fostering are great ways to get back.
With fostering. You don't have to keep the dog.
No, you don't. You don't.
They don't even want you to. They want you to keep fostering so you can foster them.
Help more dogs.
Yeah.
Right. So the next way you can help these organizations, and this one might be kind of obvious, is to donate through money. Mm-hmm. But another way you can donate the organization's need is through goods. They need food and leashes and beds and towels. Right. If you bought new towels, which we just did, we donated our old ones to the shelter, and it was awesome. They love it. They need it. Kongs are huge. Yes.
Any kind of enrichment. Collars, leashes, anything. Maybe it's your old
treats.
Your collar that your dog grew out of. I mean, it can be, nothing's going to be unappreciated.
Right. So, think more ways than just money to donate to organizations and give back. Our last kind of point to help out organization is there's so many fundraising events that happen in the Bay Area, as I'm sure all across the United States, if not across the world, to help out these dogs. I'm going to do a little personal shout out here. Hilarious Hound is sponsoring the Fido 500 is back again. It's going to be September 9th. And what it's about is we invite you to decorate your dog into car-themed items and participate in a dog race.
Super cute.
But this is a fundraiser for Wonder Dog Rescue. It's free to get in, so there's no donation. However, your charge to get in is to bring a donatable item. Like we mentioned, right? Wonder Dog Rescue is one of the many places that can use these items, and so some things they need are grain-free dog food, treats, martingales, bedding, leashes, you name it. So donate one of those items and come join us on September 9th for the Fido 500. Like our Facebook page, you'll be finding out more information about that for sure.
I also want to say you can also buy products these days
Right.
where a portion of the proceeds goes to help. I'm wearing my Mayor's Alliance for Animals in New York. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. There it is.
Okay. And then I'm wearing my Lover Not a Fighter hippo necklace, and a portion of the proceeds go to helping rescue. So, you know, there's a lot of fun ways to give back, and you can look cute doing it. I mean, I think I look pretty cute. Sorry.
I won't question you.
Sorry, not sorry.
Great. So yeah, look cute, have fun at an event.
Yeah.
Donate items, whatever you can do. All these organizations will love it and appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you're thinking of adopting a dog, you know, you can always, you know, reach out to us. I've done a lot of things where I just walk people through the process. It can be a little daunting, and you know, when you decide to find like the right dog for you, you know, make sure you know what it is. And also, one thing I forgot to say, is that sometimes after you adopt a dog, there is we call it the honeymoon period. So the first couple of days after you adopt a dog are usually the hardest because it's a big adjustment for everyone. And then after 30 days is usually in the next 30 days they're happy. There's people think they've got the perfect dog. They don't bark, and slowly as dogs become more comfortable in their environment, that's when a lot of these behavior issues will crop up.
Right.
Because they're more comfortable and they're starting to, you know, show their colors, just like being new at a job. Everyone's really good, and then after a while you get a little. So you know, don't be afraid of that. It could happen, and that's why trainers are there. We're there to help you out.
Right.
And it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
It will be okay. So again, guys, we're here, Trainer Tuesdays, here to help you, to answer your questions, to provide information for you. Christina's a professional dog trainer, and she can help you with anything you need assistance with. So any questions that you have, whether it's related to today's topic, another topic, or next week's topic, ask them away. We're here to help. So don't be afraid to ask those questions.
Happy with a smile. We're not judging. We're not judging. We're super happy.
Right. So that's about all we have for today. This one ran a bit longer than expected, but we went over some awesome information for you. And
if you know of a shelter in your local area that
you want to give a shout out to,
post it in the comments. And we'll share it. We'll spread the word.
Right. Let's give those shelters some love.
Yeah, it's Dogist.
Yay! All right, once again, Trainer Tuesday is going to be here every first and third Tuesdays of the month, dishing out different topics for you guys. I'm Michelle with Hilarious Hound.
And I'm Christina with No Problem Dog Training.
And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.